Alright, ladies and gents, today what I'm going to show you how to do is to blur out a license plate or a face or something else that you might need to blur out. I'm going to show you two different ways to do it. So, I was making a video about how to change a headlight for my car to put on YouTube. Didn't really want my license plate on there, so let me show you what I did. So the first thing you're going to need to do, see that blur right there? I'm going to show you how to do that, and also one other way that you might do this. So let's get going. I'm going to make a new video. I'm going to show you how to do it using my face, because it's the same. I mean, if you can do it on my face, you can do it on a license plate. You'll see as soon as we get into it. So first we need to do is copy, there it is, this video, and put it onto video 2. I did that by Control C, and then you need to make sure you only have this one highlighted. See how if I click on it, it highlights it. But anyway, it's going to paste whichever one I have highlighted, so I Control V to paste it. Okay, let me show you real quick an easier way to do this. Alt, click, drag, you got a copy right above it. And there's me being a goober until there. So at this point, we don't need the second video anymore. So the first way I'm going to show you to do this is by blurring the license plate, just as we did in the example that I showed you. So the way I'm going to do that is by selecting this upper video. I'm going to go to Effects, I'm going to go to Blur. I want to use the Gaussian blur. We're going to put it right there. Let's rewind so that it's still where we can see it. And we're just going to increase it to the point where we can't recognize me anymore. Let's do it right there. Now, if I were using the whole screen, I would do repeat edge pixels because Gaussian blur gets rid of the edge pixels for some reason. I don't know if we're going to need it. Well, it looks like I have a black eye, huh? Don't want to mess with that guy. Okay, so that's step 1. Step 2, we're going to make a mask, just like we did before. We're going to do that by using a title. We're not going to go the Photoshop route this time, just because I think it'll be easier. We're just going to do kind of a head-shaped, well, it looks relatively head-shaped, doesn't it? Head-shaped circle. We're going to center it and put it right on this video. We're going to lengthen it to the length of the video underneath it. We're going to go to the Track Matte Key effect, drag it onto the blurred video, which is in video 2, and tell it that its matte is video 3. Now you can see the only part that's blurred is that part that's inside the matte. That's because this right inside of our matte is showing video 2. Everything else is this empty space, so it is showing straight through to video 1. Now we're going to make sure that is right over my face, but let's start right at the beginning because I'm sure I move around a little bit. So let's move it over a little bit, let's move it up. We're going to need to make it bigger, obviously. And actually what we can do is click this uniform scale right here. Oh, I did want that at 162 also. And if we want to make it a little wider, but we don't want to make it any taller, we can do that, for example. Now I'm going to set a keyframe for everything I think I might change, which is pretty much everything. Even rotation, actually. And then we're going to start going through frame by frame, or you can hit play if you want. Today I'm going to be showing. And anytime that, let's say that I'm really sensitive about my ears, I don't want anyone to know me by my ears. So right here I'm going to set another keyframe because I don't want it to move in between those 2 points. And to there, let's say. I'm going to scoot it over a little bit. So, now what do we get? Show my ear a little bit, not too much. Oh, right there. We might want to do something else. Now the reason I'm not just putting one keyframe is because from this, here, let me put a keyframe here and then I'll explain. From this keyframe to this keyframe, it's good. I'm specifying the region where I don't need it to change between those two. But from this keyframe up to like this point here, I do want it to change. Rotation might actually be the thing to do. No, it's gonna be too much of a pain. Let's just make it a little bit wider. How about that? Okay. So now let's watch that between the keyframes. Yeah, it stretches out a little bit. Okay, and now right where I am here, you can see my chin. So let's go back to where this keyframe was, right? Kind of comes out there. So let's set some more keyframes, and then up to this point, let's move it over, okay? I'm going to move it a little bit, drag it down a little bit, maybe make it a little bit wider, okay? Let's keep going, keep pushing forward. It's still covering my face. I'm just holding down the right key, and that's scrubbing through, okay? Oh, now it's kind of right there, you know, I sneak out. So between this point and this point, it's fine. So I'm setting a keyframe with the same values. If you look here at this keyframe and here at this keyframe, same value, so it's not changing. But right there, you know what, my hair just peeks out for a second. I don't even really care, but I'm going to show you how to do it just because. Oh, and then it's actually moving back. If I change the values, even without hitting the new keyframe button, it's going to make a new keyframe. And this might not be perfect because I'm not changing it every frame it needs to change, but it should work pretty well. I'm not going to show you the whole thing, but let's play this and see how it looks.
Today I'm going to be showing a very simple fix which I was not able to find very easily on YouTube. I thought I'd just go ahead and show it.
Anyway, you can tell it's kind of following the head. It's kind of a pain that you have to do it manually. There are ways of doing it in After Effects, not manually, but probably the easiest way to do it. If I decide that that blur is just way too much and I look like a zombie, you can take it down a little bit just by changing this video to layer, because all the mask is doing is showing through to that layer. So if we want to hide a license plate, I think I actually might show the license plate in the same video. Nope, pity. Okay, so let's say now we want to hide the license plate. I'll show you how to do that, even though it's quite similar, okay? So let's use this video. I'm going to, where's that thing? Reveal in project, there it is. Which one is it? This one? Okay. Let's pull it over to our new sequence. Okay. And same thing, we're going to copy and then select video 2, and we're going to put the cursor right at the beginning. Do those line up? I don't think they quite line up actually. Let's zoom in and make sure. Yeah, we need those to be the same. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing with this one. We're going to grab our Gaussian blur. Track mat's already here. I know I'm going to need it on this one, right? So I'll put it on there. And I'm also going to need Gaussian blur. Put it on there. Let's go here. Let's increase Gaussian blur. This one, it doesn't need to be as much, huh? Because, yeah, I mean, you totally can't read that. So I'd probably even be fine there. It doesn't matter if we repeat edge pixels. Okay. We're going to make another matte. This time let's make it square shaped, since the license plate is square shaped, or rectangle shaped, I guess. Yeah, kind of like that. I'm going to try and simulate the shape of a rectangle. I mean of a square, of a license plate. That's the word I'm trying to say. Okay, let's make this the same length. Well, actually, how long do we need to blur out the license plate for? I think that once we get to there, it's actually not even there anymore. So Let's drag this one back, and we can drag this one back too. Okay, we're good. Oh, I accidentally pulled the audio back. Let's unlink that. I actually want the audio to be linked with this video. Okay, so we've got our mask right here, our mat, if you will, I guess. Different names in Photoshop and in Premiere. So I'm going to specify that I want this to be video 3, and you can tell that the blurred area is now just right there. So we need to move the title so that it is over our license plate. Another way to do this, because our title is the top video, is we can double click on the screen and then it will actually give us an option. We can move it and we can rotate it, which is kind of convenient. Now I've got it. Oh, whoops, I don't want to make it smaller. Now I've got it so it's covering my license plate. Oh, but actually I should have been on the first frame. Let's start on the first frame and get it right over my license plate. And let's turn on the animation of the position, and scale we might need as well, and rotation. Those are 3 things we might be changing, but we want them at this point to be right here. That way if we adjust them in the future to keep them over the license plate, move a couple of frames forward, cover it again, it will make a new keyframe for us at each point. Cover that, maybe rotate a little bit more. There we go. Let's cover right there. There we go. I'm going to rotate back the other way a little bit now. Bring this up. There we go. And at this point, really we don't need it anymore. So you can either drag it so that it just ends here. And we'll want to move this one as well, because without a track mat, that will just make the whole screen blurry. Okay, I should have gone a couple more frames, obviously. Let's make it end right here instead. And there we go. We've got the license plate blurred out.
Okay, here's the front of the car.
Can't tell what my license plate number is. We're set. So one other thing that you can do to make this look a little bit better is to give this a softer edge. And one way of doing that is turning off the fill, turning on the shadow, changing the shadow color to white, and then increasing the spread of the shadow a little bit and increasing the opacity to 100. That'll just give it a little bit of a softer edge. Let me show you, because I edited the mask that's in the video, it will automatically show up here. So you can tell the edge is a little softer than it was before, and if we increase the spread even more, we should see, yeah, there we go. You can see it kind of softening a little bit there. Anyway, that's one way to make it a little bit even nicer looking, so it's not such a harsh change. Okay, let me show you one more way to do this real quick. So if we want to, instead of have a blur over the person's face, we can do what is called a mosaic. If we look up the mosaic effect, we can drag that onto video 2, and you can tell we're going to turn off the Gaussian blur, or we could leave it on, but I want to turn it off. Okay, so if we want to make this look a little bit better, what we can do is increase the number of horizontal blocks, vertical blocks, and it looks more blurred, pixely, instead of just boxes. Of course, if you go too high, you can actually see the face, so you don't want to go too high. But anyway, you just kind of play with that and you'll get the effect that you're hopefully looking for.